there is actually a couple of lives and things going on as well on Facebook tonight as well, which I've noticed. So we will crack on in 1 second. If you've just jumped on, you need to get a pen or a couple of pens. Ideally, I'll show you what I've got. I'm going to make my screen bigger in a second so you can see me properly. I'll just drop one of my pens. That's not good. Hold on. Right, got my pens. So lots of different colours. Ideally, go and read the kids. Evelina's got hers. I can see it shows your pens if you've got your pens, girls and boys. Thank you. Very good. Oh, I like it. You're all organised. So yeah, pens and a bit of paper. I've got a flip chart behind me that I'm going to use a little bit later on. But I've also just got, you can just have like a book like this or whatever works for you. Just to make some notes, because I am recording it. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it doesn't save, so it's always better to get on these webinars live if you can. So let me just introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. What I'm going to do is just spotlight me, so you should all be able to see me for a moment. There you go. Okay, excuse the hair, but hey, doesn't really matter. So my name is Emma Snedden. I wanted to just share with you a little bit about myself while we wait for everybody to jump on. If you're waiting for somebody to join, if you have a quick chat and they're not on, just give them a little nudge and maybe remind them that the call is on. I am a 41-year-old mum. Thanks for all the hellos. Keep popping them in there. Also, guys, if you want to pop in your biggest time management struggle into the comments as well, or any questions that you might have, I will try and answer them towards the end if I can. And my sister has actually very kindly offered to help me facilitate that process as well. I think she's on the call too. So if you've got any questions, but I would love first of all for you to just pop in what your biggest time management struggle is, and we'll probably find that a lot of them are very similar. So I'm a 41-year-old mum of two. I've actually got a stepdaughter as well who is away at uni. She's nearly 21, but my little ones she is just turned 8. Sorry, he's 8, actually 8.5, and my daughter's just turned 11. So like a lot of you guys, I have my hands very full at home and at work. I also run 2 businesses. I've got a house, a home, a family, a husband, loads of things going on. I used to work in a corporate job. I had a very hectically busy corporate life for a long time. When I started my family, I was working 100 hours a week. So I am very aware of a lot of the time management issues that people have. I think most of them I have come across at some time or another. I've either experienced them myself or I've got friends who've experienced them. I do a lot of one-to-one coaching and client-facing work with people who have a lot of time management struggles. And actually what we find, and we'll probably see in the comments as they come through, is it's quite similar issues that people have around work-life balance, home balance. For those of you who are parents, big high five out to all of you guys. It can be really difficult to balance everything. You feel like you're not there enough for everybody, and you're like, your boss maybe doesn't get enough of you, your children maybe don't get enough of you, and then there's nothing left at the end for yourself. And I'm sure, let me know if that's something that you guys, resonates with you, because it is really, really difficult to prioritize everything. So the purpose of the next little while on this webinar is I wanted to give you some tools and tips and strategies that have worked for me over the last, I guess, 15, 20 years, I suppose. Some of them are really detailed, which is what the pens are for, right? That will really help you. And I know I can confidently say that they will help you if you implement them, because this is like a proven, I've been going through this process with people probably for about 2 years now, and I've got over 12,000 people who've used this strategy in this program and said that it really has worked and really has helped them. So I wanted to share it with you on this one-to-one or one-to-group basis. So coming through on the chat there, I just want to have a quick little look. So very busy mum, full-time working and family, Rita, stopping and starting due to family commitments, not dedicating enough time to things, slacking, struggling with time management, mum of 4, hats off to you, running out of time, balancing work and home, family, work and business, distractions, which I'm going to cover in a second. Right, so very similar. I know exactly what you guys need, so hopefully this will really help you. Scrolling on Facebook is like a rabbit warren. Social media, in fact, is like a rabbit warren that you can end up in, really, if you're not careful. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some tools and strategies around that as well. So hopefully that will help. As we go through, absolutely, I'm going to screen share something with you in a second that we can run through, but do keep asking questions if you want to, any comments that you've got. And as I said, if I can come back to them at the end, we'll keep an eye on time, and I'll definitely come back to anything specific if I can do. I'll also at the very end give you some ways of contacting me if you want some more help or some more support, or you want some feedback specifically just on a one-to-one basis. I'll give you some ways of contacting me at the end as well, so keep your pens handy for that. Okay, right, let me just share my screen for 1 second. Okay. There we go. Okay, so who can I see that can help me? Sharon, can you give me a thumbs up, Sharon Craig, if you can see that screen okay? Thank you. Yeah, you. I can see you all right. I can even see a couple of people on my screen. Can you see that okay? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Thank you. It should say Optimise Your Time with my website address underneath. Sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about optimizing your time. We're going to talk about, time is actually the greatest equalizer that we have. It doesn't matter how rich you are, how poor you are, how fat you are, how thin you are, what your background is, what nationality you are. None of that matters when it comes to time, because we all have the same amount of time, whoever we are and whatever we've got going on. So it's very good equalizer for all of us to realize that whoever we are, we have 24 hours in a day, right? So we also have, particularly as busy mums, and that's what it says in a lot of chat, we have this illusion sometimes of busy. It's almost like this pride we have when people go, I'm very busy. Like, I'm very busy. Actually, you don't really want to be very busy. It's far better when people say, how are you, for you to be actually, I'm on top of everything. Like, how much better you'll feel when you're on top of everything. And the fact that you're all on this call proves that you want to be on top of everything. So, being bogged down in this illusion of it being good to be busy, I want us to try and step out of that a little bit and think, actually, I don't want to be really busy. I want to be on top of everything. So what I'm going to run through first is we're going to get rid of this woman, right? This was me 100% about 5 years ago. And from time to time, it still is me, right? I'm still human. We still have those days when we're like, can't get everything done, trying to please everybody on this wheel that just goes round and round and round. So we're going to try and get rid of this woman over the next little while. And I'm going to talk to you first of all about some strategies for success. Okay, so there's about 10 or 11 strategies in here. So write them down and I'll talk through some things that you can do to help you to do that. So first of all is avoiding distraction. And somebody mentioned in the comments there about getting distracted really easily. There are distractions everywhere, like everywhere in our life. Social media is a huge one. Like I said before, you can get caught up in this rabbit warren of social media. Very easy, you jump on just to message somebody quickly, and before you know it, you're watching videos of cats eating cucumbers, or you're watching videos of your friends' kids at a party, and an hour has passed or 2 hours has passed. Distraction will steal your time. If you only have 24 hours to get everything done, including sleeping, eating, parenting, working, and business, or whatever else you've got going on, hopefully some exercise in there, distractions will take away from that time. So we need to avoid distractions, and for it to be able to do that, what I would suggest you do is write down on your piece of paper a couple of things that come to mind that maybe have distracted you today. What are the things, or put it in the comments if you want to, what are the things that you find that distract you in your day-to-day life? If you're a stay-at-home mum, maybe it's Jeremy Kyle goes on, and before you know it, 45 minutes is gone. Maybe it's be chatting on the phone. Maybe it's doing the housework. Maybe, and actually sometimes this is procrastination as well. We don't want to do something, so we find every reason as we can to avoid it, avoid what we actually have to do. We find all of these other distractions. People can be a great distraction. Kids can be a massive distraction. I'm not sure why someone must be drawing on the screen, but we'll just try and ignore it for now. So number one is to start avoiding distractions. And it's really important to start to be aware of things. Awareness of issues is really important. When you're aware of something, you can change it. When you're aware of something, you can. I'm just going to mute whoever it is that's there on there. 1 second. There we go. When you're aware of something, you can actually become more able to adapt to it. So number one is avoiding distraction. Oops. Hold on. Why does that not go down? Okay, number two, balancing your family and your personal life. So this is a big one, right? Sometimes I see it time and time again, and you will do it. You either do it yourself, or you probably know friends and family who do this too, who struggle with balancing family life and personal life. So when we come to towards the end of the webinar and I give you the actual tools that you can use to actually do some of this stuff, I want you to be thinking about actually implementing in your time the importance of family time and personal time, the importance of putting your phone in a drawer from time to time, and the personal time as well. Hey girls, it's really important that we put ourselves first. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is actually incredibly important. It's really important that you do something like have a bath without the kids in the bathroom, that you do something like go for a walk, put some music on with your headphones on, really doing something for you. It doesn't have to take up very much time, but what it does do is puts you in a more positive state. So when you are taking action on your goals and your things that you need to achieve, you're much more productive in that time. So family and personal balance, work-life balance is so incredibly important to achieve. And I want you from this point onwards to not feel guilty about investing time in yourself, about doing the things that you need to do to make you feel good. Because that is really important, and it's always the thing that goes first, the self-care, the gym time, the going for a walk, the looking after yourself, the having a shower, having a bath. That stuff really will help you to feel good and help you to be more productive. And the family time, please, please, please start to implement some family time. So when we do the time clocks later on, we're going to look at family time. When are you there for your kids? When are you there for your partner? When have you got time for you? Right? Everything else will get done. And I know you're thinking, oh my God, I can't fit all that in. You can, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But I want you to start thinking about now why that's important. Number 3 is setting your goals. So setting your goals so that they're clear. You know, setting your goals right is really important. Sometimes we have these, you know, they don't have to be business goals. They can be personal goals. They can be life goals. They can be just things that you want to get done, things that you want to achieve. You know, making them powerful and meaningful. So when you have this time, this 24 hours that you're allocating to yourself and the things that you want to achieve, that you're clear what you're trying to achieve at the end, what your end goal is. So be really clear about your goals, setting some family targets, setting some things that you want to achieve, whatever it might be. Going, organising a holiday, it might be just what you want to achieve that day, but setting what we call SMART goals, which is specific goals so that they're very clear, measurable so that you know when you've hit them, achievable. So, you know, yes, stretch yourself, but make it something that you can actually achieve in the time frame that you've got so that you're not constantly disappointing yourself, because that's a horrible place to be, right? We've all been there where we go to bed and we feel like we haven't achieved anything. So you want to be, your goals want to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. That's what SMART stands for if you want to write that down. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. And what I mean by time bound is if, for example, you want to, one of the jobs that you need to do is you need to sort out the kids' wardrobes. That's a rubbishy job that we put off and put off and put off, right? But you set yourself a goal that you're going to have done that. It's specific. You want to sort out Shay's wardrobe. It's measurable. You know exactly when it's done or not done. It's achievable, definitely. It's realistic, of course. Time bound. I want to have done that by Friday. See what I mean? So when you set yourself a time scale, you'll start to get things done, and we'll cover that a little bit more later. Excuse me, tackling the big tasks. So tackling the big tasks is really about doing this in the morning. So how many of you have like to-do lists and then lists on your to-do list and lists and lists and lists of more things and more things? Me, right? I have lists and then I have lists and then I have more lists and post-it notes all over. So one of the things that has really worked for me over the last little while is tackling the big tasks in the morning and getting them done. Because do you know what that does? It gives you momentum. It gives you momentum for the rest of the day because you've achieved some big things first thing in the morning. You've actually smashed through some goals first thing in the morning. So when you are setting your targets or setting your activities for the next day, be really clear what are the first 2 things that you want to get done in the morning. It might be, sometimes with me, it's like a phone call that I have to make that I don't want to make, you know, like to the tax man or the bank or something that I don't want to do, like, I don't know. But whatever it is for you that you put off, that it doesn't have to be something big in its entirety or big in its time, but something that will give you momentum for the rest of the day. So tackle your big tasks first. Schedule your response time. Now, somebody in the comments before put about social media, and this can be email, it can be messenger on your, excuse me, on your phone, it can be anything that you have to respond to. When I was working in a corporate job, one of the best pieces of advice that I got given was to use my email like a secretary, because no one was ever emailing me saying, hi, can I do anything to help you? It was always somebody emailing me, asking me to do something for them. And I used to have, and those of you who work in an office maybe will know what I mean, my laptop would be open, and in the bottom right-hand corner was a pop-up box. Every time somebody emailed me or messaged me, it popped up, you've got an inbox. And I would just, and this is an actual distraction again, to go back to the first point, I would stop what I was doing and go over and deal with that inbox or that inquiry. And now, these days, it's even more common with things like Messenger, Instagram and social media and notifications on your phone, which we're going to come to in a minute, where we're constantly reacting to other people's demands, constantly reacting to the messages, the Facebook, the WhatsApp, the inbox, right? Start to schedule your response time. This has transformed things for me in my time management. This isn't, we're not getting back to people. You have to make sure that when you schedule your response time that you are responding to people in that time. So, for example, if you are working full time, and you've got a business as well, or you've got, other things that you need to respond to, kids, invitations and things like that. But you need to schedule the time that you're allocating when we get to the clock. So what's your scheduled response time? So when I had a corporate job, I would respond to emails for an hour in the morning when I got to work. So anything that comes through the night, for an hour at lunchtime, 12 till 1. And then I'd do a little bit in the afternoon, 3 till half 3, and then half an hour before I left for work. And everybody who in my corporate life who inboxed me or messaged me or needed anything knew that that was the time that I was going to get back to them. So they weren't harassing me in between. And we had a caveat that said if it was urgent, if it was something that needed my immediate attention, they put urgent, immediate attention needed in the title of the inbox so that I knew. And that was me managing other people's expectations. And when you're talking about time management, we have to start to manage other people's expectations of us and what we are capable of. If you are constantly responding to inboxes on your phone, and the same thing, constantly responding to people asking you for information for something or wanting something from you, you have to manage your response time. So you can schedule that in, so you start to be in control of that instead of constantly reacting. Hopefully that makes sense, but that was transformational, for me. Eliminating bad habits. So how many of you have bad habits like Netflix or YouTube, or going out drinking with your friends, or things that distract you again from your goals? Now, that's not to say you can never watch Netflix and you can never watch telly and you can't go on social media. It's not that. It's getting trapped in, particularly things like going out and your social life, or constantly, if you're out socializing or drinking with your friends every Thursday night and Friday night, how much does that impact your time at the weekends? How productive are you in the other times of the day if you're going out drinking till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, sleeping in the morning, or groggy in the morning? So I'm not saying that you can't have a social life, but this is about managing your time and understanding the impact that those things have on the time that you have. Okay? So if you are time poor, have a look at how much of your time you're maybe spending on those bad habits, on things that distract you from achieving the things that you want to achieve, and start to look at where you can eliminate or minimize some of those. So for me, it was having a few glasses of wine at night. It was drinking. So that's not saying I was an alcoholic, but having a couple of glasses of wine every night or every other night made me groggy, made me sleep in a little bit more, maybe less productive in the morning. I wasn't getting up and at it till a little bit later in the day. So I eliminated that completely 8 months ago, and that's transformed everything for me. Again, I'm much more active. I'm up at 6 in the morning and I'm getting things done before the kids wake up. So have a look at what your bad habits might be. It might be people around you. It might be the distractions of the people around you, the people who constantly take you away from what you need to be doing. And, you end up out for lunch for 3 or 4 hours when you actually had a lot that you needed to get done. I'm just having a quick look at the comments for a second. Yeah, if you're constantly available, people start to expect you. That's absolutely, it is hard to say no, but it's not. But it's okay to say no, and I'll cover that. Actually, I'm going to make a note of that. That's a really good point, Evelina. Try and remember to come back to that. That it's, if we've got time, it's really okay to say no, to learn to say no to things. And someone else, iPad, I don't know who that is. Okay, there's this question there. I'll come back to that. Finding time for yourself. Okay, cool. Daydreaming. Okay, we can come back to that too. But absolutely, if learning to say no is a skill, But you know what? People respond really well to no. It's another parenting analogy, but if you have kids, think about the times when you've actually implemented like structure and said no to things and stuck to your word, how much better behaved they are after that generally, because they've got structure and they understand what the boundaries are. We're all just big kids, really. We need boundaries. We need to understand that people aren't there. You are not there like this at the drop of the hat for people. You know, if you get comfortable with saying no sometimes. If it's not serving you, if it's not getting towards you those clear goals that you set for yourself, then you have to learn to say no sometimes, because your time is precious and people will steal your time if you let them. They want more time. So if they can give some of their crap for you to do, then that's exactly what they'll do, because they've only got 24 hours too. So you need to look after your own shop first. What's going on in your life? What's happening with your time? Is this time valuable enough for you to just give it away to somebody else? This is your time. It's like a gift that somebody's giving you 24 hours every day. Are you just going to give it to somebody else for them to have more? Or are you going to use it really productively? So yes, definitely learning to say no is really important. Oops. Taking frequent breaks. Now this might sound a bit weird when we've only got a short amount of time in the day. How are we taking breaks? There's a scientific proof that if you work, I think the numbers are actually 52 and 17, but let's say in an hour, if you work productively for 50 minutes, 50 minutes, and then take 10 minutes off, away from your desk, away from what you need to do. If you are packing to move house, for example, get focused, do what you need to do for 50 minutes, and then have a 10-minute break. Go for a walk, have a cup of coffee, make a phone call, whatever, and then go back to what you need to do. Taking frequent breaks actually makes you much more productive in the time that you're working. So this is something that you can start to implement. If you're working in hour chunks, if you're achieving things in hours, implement some short breaks. Don't get lost in the rabbit warren of social media. Don't get distracted. Be clear what you're doing in your break, but give yourself breaks so that you can come back refreshed and revitalized and start again. The analogy that I'm going to use that really, if you're into health and fitness, you'll know what I mean. If you go running or swimming or cycling or lifting weights or anything like that, you cannot keep going at a high level forever. Right? If you see people who lift heavy weights, they do 8 or 9 or 10 reps and then they have a rest. And then they go back 8 or 9 or 10 reps, have a rest. If I'm cycling, I do a period of time and then I have a rest period and I go back and do another period of time. This is life. It's the same. You need to take breaks to reinvigorate yourself and go back to it. So we're going to start implementing some breaks. Meditation and exercise. So this is something that a lot of people allow to fall by the wayside. I didn't even start doing any meditation at all until relatively recently, and it's helped me massively. Now I'm not going to cover, you can go on YouTube and learn a little bit about meditation, and you can download an app. I use an app called Headspace, which is brilliant. I also use an app called Subliminal, which really helps me to sleep. Both of them are fabulous. I use a meditation with the kids as well. It's a great tool for children if they're high as kites or if they're struggling to settle down at night. There's a YouTube free meditation that they can do. But meditation and exercise, doing something for yourself like that actually benefits your headspace, will mean that in the times that you're actually active and doing things and achieving what you need to achieve, you are more productive. So it's incredibly, and obviously exercise brings on endorphins, makes you feel good about yourself, your body shape starts to change, so you start to look better, and when we look better and we feel better, everything starts to go better. We start to achieve more, we start to be more productive. So this is like what I call the compound effect. One by one by one by one, when you start to do things, all of this together pulls together and you start to be and have more, more self-confidence, and you feel better, and therefore you achieve more. So start looking at things like meditation and exercise. Planning tomorrow tonight. So this is a really relatively simple thing to do, but we're tired when we go to bed. Sometimes we're beating ourselves up. Like how many of you beat yourselves up when you go to bed every night because you haven't achieved the things that you wanted to achieve in the day, right? Started this day going, I'm going to do all this stuff, I'm going to be so productive, and then real life took over, and suddenly it's bedtime and you can't achieve anything else, and you're like, ah! So you go to bed with this negative, beat yourself up mindset. So we're going to stop doing that. We're going to get a pad and a piece of paper by the bed, and the last thing you're going to do before you go to bed is plan tomorrow, or before you do your meditation maybe, but you're going to plan tomorrow. And plan tomorrow tonight is just something that you start doing. It's one of the things that you do. It takes about 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I'm not saying a full-on strategy, just what are the things maybe, as we're getting used to this, maybe what are the things that you didn't get done that you need to do in the morning. They will become what we talked about over here, tackling your big tasks. So suddenly the things that you didn't get done start to become higher up. And I'm going to talk to you through a matrix in a minute that helps you to prioritize things so you can see what's important. Apologies for somebody drawing on my screen. It's usually because somebody's on their phone that happens. But there's nothing I can do about it. So if you one of the things, actually, here's a little thing that I've forgotten about that I do as well sometimes when I'm a little bit overwhelmed with everything. When I'm planning tomorrow tonight, if you have a list of, say, 10 things that you want to get done the following day, and it just gets it out of your head and helps you to sleep because you know that you've written down and you're not going to forget. I also then do A, B, C. So I put A's against the must get done things. Now they're like the must get dones. They've got a little A next to them. So when I wake up in the morning and I'm looking at tackling my big tasks, they're the A's. Now they need to be big things. It might be, again, a phone call that you need to make. It might be something that you need to do for the kids. It might be, you know, PE kit that the kids need for school, whatever it is. It might be something, but they're the must get done and they become the A's, and then you're not as important can be B, and then less important can be C. And you then go to sleep feeling like you're on top of tomorrow already, and tomorrow hasn't even come yet. Okay, so that's a great little tool that helps me. Finding inspiration for the future. So finding the funk. Finding inspiration for the funk. So everybody, all of us, whoever we are, whether we're famous, whether we're rich, whether we're poor, whether we're busy or not busy, whether we're, you know, whatever we've got going on, everybody gets in a funk from time to time. Everybody has those times when you're like, I can't do this anymore, I can't cope with everything, it's too much, I'm not sure what I'm even here for, I'm not sure what's going on. Are you shouting at the kids maybe more than they deserve? You're beating yourself up mentally. Right, we all have that time. So it's really important that we get prepared for that so that when it comes, we can deal with it and we know what to do. So finding inspiration for those times, I use YouTube. It's amazing. Finding things on YouTube, and I have them saved in my notes on my phone. So a lot of TED Talks are great. People like Les Brown, people like Tony Robbins. I've got a YouTube channel that you can access with loads. There's about, I don't know, even over 100 videos on there that you can access. There's lots and lots and lots of really good, inspiring content that you can have. So when you need some inspiration for the funk, you're not sitting in the funk, because when we're in a funk, how active are we? How much are we getting done? Diddly squat, right? Nothing. When we're in a funk, nothing gets done. That sounds like I was swearing. I wasn't. In a funk, nothing gets done, right? So we need to be able to pick ourselves out of it. So number one is recognizing it. Number two is finding inspiration for the funk. So that's something that I want you to go and find videos that you like and just start to save them so you know where they are. On Facebook, if you're on Facebook, when you see a good video that you like, if you click on the top right hand corner of the video, it will give you the option to save the video, and then it's always on in your profile if you need it. You can go into saved videos and it will always be there. So I've got videos on there that I've had for years that are really, really good. Find a mentor to guide you. So finding a mentor to guide you is crucial, in my opinion. I think it's incredibly important that you find someone who has been through the wrangler, right? Somebody who has experience of dealing with the stuff that you're trying to deal with. People who can guide you, help you to stay on track. We all need somebody like that. I think it's incredibly important. If you want to be a top tennis player, you go and get a tennis coach. If you want to be a top athlete, you go and get an athletics coach. If you want to play for England football, you go and get a football coach and you get a manager. If you want to be really good at piano, you get a piano lesson. If you want to be a singer, you get a singing coach. But we want to be good at life, and what do? Bumble our way through it and just kind of see what happens and then beat ourselves up because we don't get it right. Right, finding somebody, a coach, a mentor, a guide, somebody that can help you through the kind of mire of life, the day-to-day stuff, and keep you on track is absolutely crucial. And I cannot recommend it highly enough. It might just be a friend, it might be somebody in your business, it might be your boss, it might be I wouldn't recommend that it's your partner because they're a little bit too close to you, but somebody who can see that you respect, who can talk to you and give you guidance and help you through the difficult times and also help you through the good times too. This is something that I actually offer as a service as well. So if you're interested in doing that with me, let me know and I can contact you afterwards. But go and find somebody who can guide you through. But I do honestly think that finding a mentor or a guide that you respect that can help you is absolutely crucial. Right, turning off your notifications. This is a tough one for those of you who have businesses based on social media, but it will help you. even if you only turn the notifications off on some of your phone notifications. So how many of you have got one of these that's constant? Look at mine already, right? I've got most of mine turned off, and I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notifications while I've been on this call, and most of my notifications are turned off. So I have 2 from school, but the kids are away. My daughter's away with school, so I have to have those on. I've got 1 message from my husband and an Instagram notification. If you turn your notifications off on most of your apps, it will just make you breathe easier. It will make you feel less reactive. So leave them on if you need to on the things that you need them on. But I don't have my Facebook notifications on, for example, because if I had my Facebook notifications on, that now would be absolutely just full. And what it used to do for me was every time I picked up my phone, it stressed me out. Every time I picked up my phone, I was like, oh my God, I've got all this stuff to get back to. And that's not on my list. It's not in my target. It's not. Turning off your notifications. And when I want to get something done, and this is a real time management tool trick, when you want to get something done, turn them all off, right? You can go into your notifications on your phone and click turn off notifications. It will turn them all off. And I tell you, having a lovely blank screen like that with no notifications on gives you a lovely clear head to get through the things that you've got. They're still there. You can go into Facebook Messenger and see your notifications. You can go into Instagram and see your notifications. You can go into your email, see who's emailed you. I don't have my email notifications on. I don't have my Facebook notifications on. I have Messenger, I have WhatsApp, but I don't see what it is. And I have text message. That's it. That's it. Everything else, I respond to it when I want to respond to it. I promise you, if you try this, the only thing is, if your business is on social media, you have to make sure that in this time, your scheduled response time, your scheduled social media time, you are actually going in and checking those things because you don't want to miss anything. Okay, the final one on this bit is declutter. So, have you ever heard the saying, tidy house, tidy mind? Right? Tidy workspace, tidy mind. It's so true. Now, I'm not saying you'd have to live in a palace or you have to have like nothing anywhere. This is the tip that I'm going to give you because it will help you. Do it one shelf at a time, one drawer a day, one cupboard a day. Because what we do is we try and do the whole house in an hour and then beat ourselves up about it because we haven't done it. So if you are moving house, for example, unpack what you need to and then do one box a day and stick to that as one of the things that you do. If you want to declutter your house, do one cupboard in your kitchen every day, one wardrobe in your bedroom that you do. And when you, again, the compound effect of that is within about 6, 8, 10 weeks, you have decluttered your whole house. One box at a time, one shelf at a time. Not one room at a time. We haven't got time for that. We're doing what we can do when we can do it. And the compound effect of it is nice, clean, tidy, decluttered house. And then you go back and declutter the first one, which has got cluttered up in the 10 weeks that you've been decluttering everything else. Okay, so that's one thing at a time. Right, so what I want to share with you now is the system and the strategy for doing this stuff. And I have 2 systems to share with you. I'm just going to quickly just see if there's anything on the chat that I need to see. Oopsie. Put your phone in airplane mode when you need to get important stuff done. Yeah, I do that. And at bedtime as well, Bex. Phone on airplane mode or nighttime mode, so that nobody can contact me. And the beautiful thing is about that, when I wake up in the morning, I have no notifications on my phone. Nothing. So I don't wake up, because we do that, don't we? Wake up and we look at our phone straight away because it's our alarm clock or whatever. If you wake up and look, there's still no notifications on that, so I'm not lying, I have got them turned off. If you wake up in the morning and your phone is full of inboxes or full of messages, you wake up like this, oh God, already, right? So turning them off, and airplane mode is really crucial for that. Okay, busy getting crazy, turning off your notifications. Had 7 notifications on Messenger while I've been here, Zena, exactly. And lots of you needing a mentor, I can definitely help you with that if you want some help from me. Mindfulness meditation ideas on there as well. And absolutely, that comment there is so true, Tracy. If you don't value your time, then other people won't value it either. And I think when we learn that and we start to implement that, people value us more because we're not just readily available. You know, a bit like if you're going for a bus and you know, I always say it when I go for a tube. Oh, there's going to be another one along in a minute anyway, so it doesn't really matter if I miss it. If you are always there for people, instantly responding all the time, instantly there to help, to support, to do things, then that's what people expect. So you have to value your own time, and other people will value that as well. So I want to share with you this 2 strategies. The first one is called the Covey Priority Matrix. if I can just get that to do. And then I'm going to talk you through the time clocks, and that will probably take us up to our time. So apologies that this is a little bit blurred, but I had to try and make it bigger. This is something that I would encourage you to draw out yourselves. Get your notebook. I'll do it on the flip chart behind me actually as well, because I need to move that a little bit nearer. Oh, let me see if I move this nearer. What happens? It might fall over. Right, okay. Can you guys see that, hopefully? Okay, so this priority matrix, some of you might have seen it before. I learned this when I had a corporate job, and this really helped me. So this might be what you do at night time. This might be your plan tomorrow tonight thing that you do. And it's really simple. You literally get a piece of paper. Doesn't have to be as big as this one. Oh, you can't see that, can you? Or can you? A little bit. And draw this. Just a big cross like that, right? Top left-hand corner, same as on here. You've got high there and low at the bottom. And that's in terms of importance. Okay, so this bit down here is how important is the thing that we want to achieve. Okay, and then on the other side, at the top, you've got urgent. Even though it says urgency, but important and urgent. So this is to help you to prioritize the things that you've got to do, or the things that you think you've got to do. And again, in this corner, I'm going to stand up. We've got low. Okay, so you've got important, urgent, high, and low. This box here is box number 1. I know you can't see this, but I'm only drawing out what's in here. Let me know in the chat if you can actually see this at all. Anyway, so in here we've got important. So this is number 1, which is important and urgent. Okay, so this is urgent and important. So anything that you think is urgent and important is going to go in this box. In this other box over here, we're going to have important but not urgent. So the difference, for example, with that is important and urgent might be something like you've got to pay a bill. You've got to, I mean, that can be quite, that's important and you've left it too long. If you don't pay it, you're going to get a fine, for example. It might be that you need to respond to a letter. It might be that you've got to do something for your boss that's due tomorrow or today or whatever. So important and urgent is do it now. Right, these are your A's. These are the things you're going to do now. Important, not urgent, is you can decide when you want to do it, but it's important and it needs to be done. So it might be paying for the kids' school trip. It's not due till next week, but it is important and it's easy to do, so you may as well get on with it, but you can decide when you do it. Okay, this one here is in urgent, again, but not important. Okay, so it really needs to get done, but it's not important. It might be something as simple as you really need to book a hair appointment, or you really need to book a dentist. It's not urgent because it's just a checkup, but it is important and you do need to do it. And then the other one here is not important and not urgent. The vast majority of what other people ask us to do will fall into this box. This is the box where we dump it. If it's not important and it's not urgent, you need to ask yourself why you're doing it. That makes sense. If it's not important and it's not urgent, why are we doing it? So I really want you to start looking at, and so what you do here is you draw, so rather than have this, what I found personally was this was better than having a list. Having a list of things daunted me, because it was just a list of stuff I wasn't going to get done, right? This is much more productive. This helps me to see, so write the list first if you want to, and then put it into here. So you'll, I think on the next slide, yeah, okay, so I've got some ideas here of things that you might have in each box. Okay, so urgent and important might be something like, from a work, this is very much a work point of view, but it might be, a crisis that needs dealing with a customer. It could be a pressing problem in your house. Your boiler might need replacing, for example. It might be deadline-driven projects, or these are really important, it's due tomorrow. It might be if you're a student, it might be an exam or a piece of work that's due in. So really urgent, really important. These are the, the priority, get them done. That's why it's called a priority matrix. Not urgent, but still important, are things like relationship building, things like looking at opportunities, things like mind mapping, things like working out strategies, things like planning and reviewing and, looking at numbers and maybe looking at last month and seeing how you did and planning this month. And it might be in your personal life. It can be things like I said, like booking hair appointments, sorting stuff out for the kids. It can be housework that needs doing. It's important to you, but it's not urgent. So have a real think about what the things that are on your list now, and you've probably all got a list somewhere of stuff that needs doing. Where does it fit in this box? Not important, but still urgent. It can be some emails, it can be some inboxes, it can be some meetings, it can be the notifications on your phone, it can be anything really that you want, you know you need to do it because it's urgent, but it's not high importance to you. Sometimes these things are things that are important to somebody else, but not to you. Right? It's not the be all and end all of life for you. And then the final one, this box here, not urgent and not important, is phone calls, it's time wasters, it's chatting to people, it's you know, things that don't add any value, aren't taking you in the direction that you want to go. It can be in your personal life, it can be, you know, just, I don't know, pointless things that you don't need to do that are not urgent and not important. It can be, they're very often a distraction. It might be watching a film, it might be catching up with Love Island. It's not urgent and it's not important, so do you really need to be doing it? These are all things that are taking away your time at the moment, your 24 hours. Remember, we all have 24 hours in a day. How we use it is up to us. So hopefully this will give you a strategy where you can just start to think, is this important? And is it urgent? And where does it fit in this box? And this takes a little bit of time to get used to, but it really, really helped me to see what I needed to do. And then this urgent important becomes the things that get done first. Where you will get to, guys, is you will be working mostly in this one here, which is it's important, but it's not urgent. This is a nice, comfortable, good place to be active. It's important, so therefore it's worth doing, but it's not urgent, so it's not stressing me out, it's not getting on top of me. So the most things that you want to be doing should be in this box. This is where you ideally don't want anything in urgent important, because that's the stress. That's the things that you haven't got time to, you know, to do anything else because you're constantly working here. Most of us, me included, used to work in important, urgent all the time. That's why we're so stressed out. That's why we're so tired. That's why nothing gets done, because it's important, urgent, and everything else falls by the wayside. Okay? But in this, I want you to start planning in your own time as well. So having a bath, right? It might be urgent, depends how long it is since you had a bath, but it's definitely important. It's important from your self-care point of view, okay? So listening to some music, going for a walk, doing something fun with the kids, you know, that becomes your, not urgent, but it is incredibly important. Okay, so the final thing I want to run through with you guys is, and I'm hoping that you can see this when I come to it, is my time clocks. Now, these have been something that they've been used all over the world. I've got a video on YouTube that shows how to do this as well, that, like, I don't know, it's had something like 15,000 views or whatever. But somebody showed this to me when I was, when I was very first building my own business alongside a full-time job. So I had a full-time career working 100 hours a week, got 3 kids, and I was trying to build my own business at the same time. And I was just like, you know, when you're spinning plates and no one had anything, I was just like, I can't do this, I can't see what I need to do, and I'm just too much. This is something that helped me massively, and I know if you just take the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most, to draw this out with me for yourself, it will, and then just start to implement it, it will transform things for you too. I can pretty much guarantee it, because I know that it's doing it for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing this screen, so you should be able to see the flip chart a little bit better while I do this. Is that a little bit better? Can you see that better now, hopefully? Yeah. Okay, so this is the fun bit where you get to do some colouring in and stuff as well, right? So ideally, if you have a book like this, have both sheets and do 1 clock on each side, right? Because we're going to do the morning and the afternoon. Has anybody got anything urgent in the questions that I need answering? Are we all right? Taking screenshots, need to work on that, please. Need a mentor. But if you need to message me, absolutely do that. I'll share my email with you at the end, or you can get me through Facebook. Waking up to nothing. Okay, great. Right, I love these. And please let me know how you get on with them as well afterwards. And feel free to share with your friends or anything this tool when you got used to it yourself. Right, I'm just going to stand up. You can share out of the way. Right, so step 1. We're going to do one big one first. Okay, in fact, no, I'm going to do, let me see how big my friend. Right, I'm going to do this one. So this is our morning. And we're going to do another one here, which is our PM. Okay? I'm just going to move the arrow out of there. Let me know if you get confused or you can't follow in the chat and I'll do it. So all we're going to do is we're going to draw out the clock. 12, 6, 3, 9. 12, 6, 3, 9. And then fill in between there. 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11. So you've got a clock. Yeah? Everyone all right with that so far? Let's see if I can see everyone on the screen. Everyone's joined. Brilliant. Okay, and then next one, again on the other clock. 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Am I still spotlighted big on your screens? Yes, good, because I've made them little so I can see more people. Because I'm awesome. Right. So this is the clock. Put a little dot in the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to map out your time. So bear in mind the things that I said earlier on, the distractions, the self-care, the time balance, all of that. So this is your 24 hours, right? This is your day and this is your evening. So first of all, I'm going to map this out for what my life was like when I was working full time, because I think that's probably the most common thing for most people. Okay, so, and I'm just implementing like things that I needed to do at the same time. So think about what time do you go to bed at, or should you go to bed at, right? So currently, let's say, I'm going to say that we go to bed at 11. So in our PM clock, sorry, in our PM clock down here, so I'm going to write it down because I forget. Yeah. In our PM clock, we're going to do 11 till midnight. We're in bed. Okay? And then I'm going to suggest that we get up at 6. Okay? So in our AM, we're in bed from midnight right through to 6 o'clock. Okay? Little tip for you. This might be a step too far for we're just dealing with time management now, but if you really are struggling for time after they've implemented all of this, think about moving this to here and getting up an hour earlier. I cannot tell you how much more you will get done in that hour than you'll ever get done in any other hour during the day. Because there's no distractions, no one else is up. You can literally batter through all the things that you need to get done. Kids get up and you are literally focused on breakfast and school run and whatever. So I'm not going to do that now because it can be a step too far for people, but if you think about it as you go through this and you can move that there, that extra hour is almost worth 3 hours later on in the day. Okay, but for now we're going to say 6. So what I want you to do is I want you to colour that in. Okay, so this is the time, and we're going to write sleep. Right, this is when you're asleep. Now I know we've got kids and things going on, and sometimes sleep eludes us, but theoretically, oh goodness, your kids wake up at 4:40. Oh, that's a separate webinar. I might be able to help you with that. Drop me an inbox later on and I'll see if I can try to. I've got some ideas. I think we were talking about this morning with Sarah and Bethany as well. I have got some ideas for that as well. And it doesn't last forever. My sister always used to say to me, it doesn't last forever. I know it's hard now, but it doesn't last forever. Okay, so that's when we're asleep. And we're going to get up at 6. If you're getting up any later than 6, you are kind of wasting a few hours in the morning that you could be. Now, if you're on night shift, you're going to have to work this a little bit, differently for you or whatever you're doing. Sometimes people do different shifts. So this is just a kind of a bog standard one. But some people that I do this with, they have to have a different one for every day because their life is different every day. But this is a generic one. Okay, so let's say we get up at 6. And then we've got, maybe you've got an hour. In my life, I had an hour before the kids used to go. So let's say the kids got up at 7. So I had this hour here, right, where I was able to do the things that I wanted to do in the morning. So I allocated here, right, I've got half an hour in the morning to get showered, dressed, do the things that I need to do to get ready, right? I haven't got time to be faffing around, 3 hours putting my makeup on. We haven't got time for that. We're getting ready in half an hour. This is your time to get showered. What that does is it stops you getting in a rabbit warren of Facebook or social media or whatever. If you're building a business on social media, in this time here, I'm going to use, because I know a lot of you are, I'm going to use this green pen for the time that we're going to do, one social media thing. Or you've got 10 minutes, right, at 7:30. You've got 10 minutes there. You can do a lot in 10 minutes, right? You can add 300 friends on Facebook in 10 minutes. if you're active and you're planning it properly. If you want to do your 10 minutes as soon as you get up, that's fine. But we're not getting lost in social media. We're not scrolling through it. We're not like watching videos and stuff. Right? We've got stuff to get done. So we've got 10 minutes here. That then gives you, oops, here, 20 minutes to go downstairs, have breakfast. And if you're a parent, what worked for me was getting everything ready for the kids so that when they came down, everything was sorted. So this gives you 20 minutes here. Get the breakfast stuff out, get the PE kits ready, get everything by the front door, doing all the stuff that you need to do, right? So you're in that hour, you've actually achieved quite a bit. If you're not a parent, you don't have to do that. You might be able to do some fitness in that hour. You might be able to do a quick HIIT workout. You know, there's loads of HIIT workouts you can do in 20 minutes on YouTube that will just literally start your day off really well, and you'll be burning calories and fat all day. So if you've got that, you know, that bit there where you don't maybe have kids or you've got that time, then do that in there. Okay, so for me then, kids would get up at 7. So from 7 till 7:30 was absolutely phone in a drawer, kid time. They need to get dressed. If you are doing this, just a minute, I promise you it takes your kids 10 times longer to get dressed. You're far better to put your phone in a drawer. You've had your 10 minutes here, the social media time. Put your phone in a drawer and just be with them while they're getting ready. Or if they're a bit older, like mine are now, I can be getting ready while they're getting ready at the same time. But you still need to be like a present parent. Right? We want to be present parents. We don't want to be those parents who are like, just a minute, and missing everything, right? This is about having time for everybody. So remember what I said about family time and family focus? In this time, that includes that as well. It doesn't always have to be, you know, out for ice cream and going to the cinema. Just being a present parent in the moment when they're getting dressed and having breakfast is really important too. Okay, so from 7 till 7:30, it's getting dressed and breakfast and that sort of thing. Now, some of you I know will have to go out to work and things, but you've got to do this around your own time. You can come back and do it afterwards. So 7 to 7:30 there, we're going to colour that in as family time, not orange. I've got 2 orange pens, oh no. Okay, this is family time. Whatever that means for you and your family, okay? So 7:30 till 8, a lot for me at the time it would have been school run, dropping them off at nursery, that kind of thing, okay? So again, 7:30 till 8, you're driving potentially. Or let's say drop off or driving. If you are driving, here's a little tip for you. If you're in your car a lot, which is what I was when I was working in my corporate life, you can use your car like a mobile university. You know, we were talking before about the videos and the things, the places to go when you're having a funk. A lot of YouTube and things like that, you don't actually need to watch it. You can just listen to it. So I have a load of saved videos. I use Audible, which is a brilliant app. I'll write that down for you somewhere. Actually, someone just stick that in the comments for me. Hi Neil, sorry, I've been talking about women and there you are, bossing it for the men. Sorry about that, mate. It still applies, right? We're still time poor, my guys. Audible, brilliant. Audible is a fantastic app for downloading books. I don't read as much as I'd like to because I don't have time or I don't make enough time for it. So Audible is my lifesaver. I took all the CDs out of my car, I turned the radio off, and I put Jim Rohn's Building Your Network Marketing Business in there. I put Tony Robbins in there. My kids know some of that stuff off by heart. It is no harm for them to listen to that stuff, right? It's brilliant for them to hear that life affirming stuff in the car on the way to school. So this time here, or it might be talking to them about their day or whatever, but use that time productively rather than getting stressed out about the traffic and feeling late about everything, because you start your day in a negative mindset when you do that. Okay, so dropping off the kids, driving, whatever, 7:30 to 8. Right, let's say in a nice, lovely world, you start work at 9 o'clock, right? Maybe it's 8:30, but let's say this nice world, you start work at 9 o'clock. Okay, so you've got an hour from when you drop the kids off and when till you have to get into work and start work. So what can you do in that hour? Right, you might be driving to work, in which case you're doing more personal development, you're listening to YouTube. If those of you who use Zoom for your businesses, for example, if you missed a call in the evening, listen to it the next day, and that time, you know, that time is what I call like dead time. It's wasted time. If you're listening to Talk Sport or Radio 1, you've wasted time. You could be doing something productive. So you might be able to go for a run. You might be able to get into the office early, get through some of your emails early. But this time here, for me, was actually driving time, was getting to the office, was getting stuff done. But I very much in that time use that for my business building. So I would get into the office early, or I work from home a lot of the time, and I have that hour. So if you're on here and you're building a business as well as your job and your career and your parenting, this here was my business building time. Okay, so I had an hour there. You can do a lot in an hour if you're productive in that hour. If you know what you need to do, messaging people, talking to people, inboxing people, responding to inquiries, going through your email, going through your messenger, all of that responding time. So you might have, now I had that time there, not always, but on a good day, right? So I would drop the kids at wherever they needed to be, get home or get to the office or sit in the car and respond to the things I needed to. Because when I got to work at 9 o'clock, I need to be at work. Right? And I have so many customers and clients who come to me and they're like, I'm trying to do this at the same time I'm supposed to be working and my boss is looking over my shoulder and I'm trying to do this. So you need to make sure in the time that you are at work that you're working, right? That you're in the zone, because then you'll be more productive. So let's say you have to work till you get a lunch break. If you don't have a lunch break, by the way, I want you to start taking a lunch break. You are entitled to it. Now, I know your boss might tell you that you're not, and it might not be an hour, but you are entitled to half an hour, right, or something. So take it, even if you have to sit in the loo with your phone, even if you have to go and sit in the car or go for a walk, take that time because you need it to be productive. We learned that at the beginning. Okay, so 9 till 12, you are at work, okay? This is your business building time here. 9 till 12 wasn't the time, but we're going to be at work, okay? If you're a stay-at-home mum or dad, okay, if you're a stay-at-home mum or dad, this time might be nursery trips, it might be playgroup. You actually will find if you're working from home, you've got way more time than you realise if you get this done around, allocating time for your kids and time for your business and time for your partner. But if you're at work, this is what I want you to start doing. You have got 3 hours here. You have got toilet trips, you've got ideally maybe a 15-minute break, and you have a lunch break, right? Or you might have driving time if you're like me and you're driving around. But every time I went to the loo, every time I wasn't at my desk, I was able to squeeze in. I used to have between 10 and 11, I would have like 5 minutes of social media time, and between 11 and 12, the same, 5 minutes of social media time, or whatever I needed to do, okay? And then at 12 o'clock, we're down here now in the afternoon, 12 o'clock is lunchtime. Okay, great. So from 12 to 1:30, we're going to assume you've only got half an hour for lunch. That's lunch. I want you to eat lunch. Have food, right? Do something with that time. Eat lunch. Yay, Mel's cheering. Right, I want you to have lunch. Whatever it is, whether it's a healthy snack, whether it's a shake, whether it's a sandwich, I want you to do something for you. This might be the only me time you get in the whole day. So I want you to do something with that time that's for you. Go for a walk, put your music on. I used to go for a run, right? Because maybe I couldn't fit it in, go to the gym later on, right? This 12 to 1, find the time to do that for you. And if your boss doesn't like it, tell them how much more productive you're going to be when you come back in the afternoon. If you're at home with the kids, driving you around 4 kids, right, or whatever, you still want to do that, even if you just take them all out. Hopefully maybe you still have 1 or 2 that have a nap. Do something here, even if it's just something for you. Maybe you plonk them all in front of Iggle Piggle and you have a coffee. Tracy's just asking, I can't see your name there, she needs a question if you want to answer that, and I'll let you guys chat through that. Okay, so now we're back at work, and let's say in the afternoon, we're in a nice job where we get to finish at 5. Okay, and we have to go and pick the kids up and do all of that evening stuff. So from 12:30 till 5 again, we are at work. This, guys, is why it's so important to do something that you like doing, or do something else, because look how much time in the day that you're spending at work, right? You've got to find, if you don't love doing it, find something else to do, or create a business in these nooks and crannies of the day where you can do something else. Okay, so you're at work till 5. But again, right, you're not sat at your desk all that time. You might be able to go and get a coffee. Do you know what? Here's the thing. When I was working at Kellogg's, we had a Costa coffee in the reception, or Starbucks, something like that. I worked out that I spent 39 hours in the queue for coffee in a year. That's a full working week. Standing in the queue, waiting to order coffee at work that I got paid for. Imagine what I could have done with that time, right? You will find bits and pieces in the day where you can and I'm just going to allocate you, again, 5 minutes at 2:30 and 5 minutes at 4:30. Okay, but what I want you to do is remember what we talked about, the response time. If you've got a job where you have to respond to emails and things like that, start thinking about where you can factor that in so that you can work when you need to work, respond to emails when you need to respond to emails. So what I used to do as well was like this 4:30 to 5 would be like where I would finish off the things I need to finish so I didn't go home feeling stressed out. Okay, that way there. Onto those last minute emails, whatever. But you need to decide what time you're leaving and leave at 5. And ignore all the comments about, oh, having an early finish, are we, and all that stuff, right? If you need to go, you need to go. And that's absolutely fine because you've been really productive in the time that you've been there, right? 5:30. Sorry, 5 o'clock we're going to leave and we're going to go and pick up the kids or do what we need to do. So we've probably got around about half an hour to an hour of travelling time. That'd be about accurate for most people. About half an hour to an hour of travelling time. So we're going to factor that in here. Where are we, Blue? Let's be Blue. So ideally by 6 o'clock we've picked up the kids, we've done the travelling. So again, in this time here, we're going to be listening to audios. We might be on the, you know, if you've got hands free, you might be able to be on the phone in that time maybe. You might be just enjoying the traffic. You might be just looking out the window. Guys, if you're stuck in traffic, top tip, just enjoy it because you cannot do anything about it, right? There is no point in stressing out, lane changing, driving yourself insane. If you're stuck in traffic, look out the window and see what you can see that you like. Is there greenery? Is there a handsome guy in the car next to you? Is there a beautiful girl for Neil in the car next to him? Is there, you know, is there something that you can see? Because I promise you, I used to spend hours of my life stuck on the M6 and my knuckles were red because I was so stressed out about it. When you are all organised about things, you'll be less stressed out about the things that you can't change. If you can't change them, try not to get stressed out about it. Yeah, listen to Oprah. Yeah, Oprah's a great person to listen to actually. She's got loads on YouTube as well, loads of Oprah stuff. Okay, so we're going to get into the evening. This is the fun part. This is the time that you waste currently, most of you, right? I know because I was me, and you wouldn't be on this call if that wasn't the case, right? So if we look at this utopian place here, we're going to bed at 11 and it's now 6. We have 5 hours here. 5 hours to get stuff done, right? Now you can decide what are the things in that time that are your absolute essentials. So I'm going to use my example for you, but you think about yourself. What have you got? 5 hours is ages. And that's still going to bed at a good time. Like 5 hours is ages. Now, I had 2 small kids, so I needed to do bedtime and tea time and all that stuff as well, and the witching hour. So bear in mind, your kids haven't seen you all day, they've had a hard day, you've had a hard day, and your partner hasn't seen you all day probably as well. So this is where the balance becomes really important. So from 6 till 7 is going to be kid time if you have kids. If you don't have kids, you can be building a business, you can be exercising, you can go to the gym, something like that, right? You've got luxury if you don't have other people to, you know, bath and bed and feed and stuff, right? You've got loads of time. 6 till 7 is kid time. Again, we are not on our phones at this time. Our phones are in a drawer because your children will just go to bed quicker if they've spent a little bit of time with you on the way to bed. If they've had tea and they've had a chat, sit down and talk to them, have tea together if you can, chat about your day, how's their day been, how's your day been, what's tomorrow going to look like, have you got PE, blah, 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 right? If you do that, and I know it's not easy, and I know you think, I've got to do that, I've got to do that, but this is going to help you because you've already planned out your day. 6 till 7 is your phone in a drawer kid time, all right, or family time. If you've got a partner and you don't have kids, maybe that's your time that you spend with them for an hour. How was your day, dear? How was your day, dear? Have dinner together, not on your phones, not on your social media, not in front of the telly, all right? So this is family, whatever that means for you. Or gym, exercise time if you don't have to be at home between that time. But for me, at that point in my life, when this was really, really helpful to me, my kids used to go to bed at 7 o'clock. Now it's different. I've had to change this completely for our current life, right? So it's just a moving thing. But let's say you've got family time, you've done tea, you've done bath, and you've got them in bed. I'm going to say it's gone a bit late, so it's going to be 7:30, right? Things have gone a little bit awry. You've had extra toy time, a bit of a longer bath. It's now 7:30, okay? Everything's done. You've now got from 7:30 till 11 to do whatever you want. Build a business, go for a run, exercise, have sex, watch telly, whatever, right? You've got all of this time in this normal day to do whatever you want. So let's say you need to eat and you want to spend some time with your partner because the other time is kid time. So from 7:30 till 8, that's going to be business building. So if you're building your business on social media, or if you're not and you just want to scroll on social media and have, use your social media, be on Instagram, whatever, 7:30 till 8 is when you're going to do that. If you're building a business on social media, that time needs to be productive. Okay, it needs to be action, messaging people, helping people, blah, blah, blah. 7:30 till 8. From 8 till 9, very often, for those of you who are I know a lot of you are, because I can see it on the call, for those of you who are network marketing or building a business online, quite often we have Zoom calls or training calls or something like that at that time. I would personally use this time here to really business build. Now, my audience, there's a lot of mums, tend not to be on social media till after 9 o'clock. So I would use this 8 till 9 for husband time, right? Having dinner, watching a film, chatting about your day, getting him or her off your back about the fact that you're on your phone all the time. Okay, you've got to allocate time for the people that are important to you, the people that you want to support you. So this time here, ideally, might be your husband time. It doesn't really need a full hour if you manage it well. You can maybe do it in half an hour. But manage that, but have that time to allocate it for them so you can sit down with them and find out about the things that are important. It might be planning a holiday. It might be doing your vision board together. I don't know. But family time in terms of your husband or your adult family time, okay? And then from 9 till 11, if you are trying to build a business, you need to be a firmly signed up member of the 9 till 11 club, right? Kids are in bed, husband's had his hour, everybody's eaten, kitchen's cleaned, whatever you need to do. You can do your housework in this half an hour here, maybe, if you want to. You've got plenty of times, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, where you can do bits and pieces of the things that you need to do. This time here, up till probably, let's say, 11:15, is business, right? Or if you're not building a business online, if you are looking to exercise, or if you're looking to book a holiday, or you're looking to declutter your house, or any of those things, right? If you don't have a husband, don't have a partner, don't have kids, you have more time than you know what to do with. Really, if you map this out, you will be astounded how much time you have when you map this out for you. This is just a generic one that worked for me in the time that I had 5 years ago when I came across this brilliant tool for managing my time. You need to write this out for you. What does your time look like? Everybody is different. Sometimes I've worked with nurses and they're like, I have a different shift every day, every week. Once you get used to this, you can map it out really quickly for the week ahead, for the day ahead. But use this tool, because then you've got here, you're working on your business or whatever you want to work on, or you might want to watch a film in that time. If you want to watch telly, you want to watch a film, you want to watch the World Cup, that's cool. But allocate the time on here to do it so that you're not just aimlessly wasting time. If you want to watch the England match on Monday night, I think it's at like 5, factor it in, put it in your plan here. Right, 5:30, and put it in. That's football time, but it might mean that you watch that with your partner or your kids, so you don't have that family time later on because you've moved things around. But this is not set in stone. This is about getting organised, writing out your clocks, doing your clocks for the week, and then the nitty-gritty stuff goes into here. What are the things I need to get done to clear up my headspace? Does that make sense? Is it helpful? Yeah, good. Okay, I promise you, if you write those things out, they will help you enormously, because I know that they all helped me. I'm just going to have a quick look at the questions, and then I'll share the last little bit with you, and then we're done. Okay, like time clocks. Oops, lost you. There. Okay, hopefully you can see that. I'm going to quickly just check the chat there. Really helpful. Good. Thank you. Okay, if you need to watch this back again, if you go onto YouTube, if you want to watch the clocks thing back again and just put in time management MS Nedin, there's a video on there that kind of goes through this all again in more detail. So those things, the Kobe priority matrix and the time clock, plus those things that I ran through earlier on, if you implement even just 50% of that into your day, will your day be run better or worse than it would have run maybe yesterday or the day before? Hopefully better. Right? All it is, this is not rocket science. This is about finding tools and strategies and things that you can do on your day-to-day basis that just take the pressure off. We live our lives like little pressure cookers. We're like, wake up, like, oh, got so much to do, got so much to do. Listen over the next few days to when you ask people how they are, they'll be like, I'm so busy, I've got so much to do, I'm stressed out, I've so much to do. This is not going to be you anymore, because you're going to get organized. Just take, and this, once you get in the swing of this, it will take you a couple of minutes a day to just get on top of your day, and your day will run so much more smoothly. Share it with your family, share it with your kids or whatever. If you guys have found this useful, there's a ton of other stuff that I can share with you. This is just like a whistle-stop tour, sorry, probably just over an hour, of what's possible to make your life run easier. I do run as well, some online programs, some one-to-one stuff that you can access. I'm just going to quickly run through how you can access some of that stuff that will really develop this further for you. So what I've got starting in a couple of weeks, I think it's in a couple of weeks, is my online 5-week program. So the 5-week program is all done in the comfort of your own home. You don't have to go anywhere. It's just done through a Facebook group. And the things that we cover are, that's how you access it. That's the website. So everything's just, if you just go to msnedden.com, you can access everything through there. It's a 5 weeks. I've done it 4 times now, the 5-week program, and people get amazing results in their personal life, their self-belief, their development, their time management, everything. So the things we cover are things like why we think the way we do, importantly, why other people act and think the way they do, which is a real mind-brain opener. When you see it, you're like, oh, okay, now I get it. Like, absolutely amazing. It helps you with business, work, everything. Self-care and self-love, which I am mega passionate about, and I promise you, when you start investing in yourself in terms of looking after yourself, it will pay you back tenfold. Creating your inner circle of people. So the distractions that some people talk about, sometimes that's our friends, it's our family, it's people around us, our work colleagues. So how can you create an inner circle of people that support you and actually support this stuff? You know, you getting in control of your own life. Tips and strategies, so more of this kind of content on how to build your self-belief, your confidence, your health, all sorts of things. I'm very much into like whole, your mind, body, business, brain, everything. When you start to look after things better, everything starts to go better. So things to help you with that, finding out what your strengths are and then starting to play to them is hugely beneficial in our lives. To know what your strengths are and how you can maximize them. I think sometimes we try and be a jack of all trades. We try and be everything to everybody, and we get to be a master of none. I think that's actually a saying, isn't it? Jack of all trades and master of none. I would really focus on what you're good at. I always say this about social media. You know, pick your social media of choice and get really good at it, rather than doing a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of that and a bit of that. Why not get really good at Instagram, or really good at Facebook, or really good at doing Zooms, or really good at doing lives, or whatever? You know, pick your strength and get really good at it. A bit like a dentist, right? A dentist just took the pays on teeth and got really good at teeth. Whereas a doctor, a GP's gone and got like a little bit of knowledge about everything. Well, be a brain surgeon, get really good at brains. But pick your thing that you're really good at and get really good at that. You can learn how to speak up for yourself. Incredibly important, guys. We've got to speak up for ourselves. This is where, when those of you who said in the chat about learning to say no, we do a real focus on the online program about helping you to learn how to say no, learning how to take a compliment, learning to value your own voice. Incredibly important. When you start to do that, you'll get more of this time, because you are not giving away your time to people. Tracy said it before in the chat. If we don't value our own time, other people won't value our time. So that's really important, to learn to speak up for ourselves. Learning to care less what other people think. That is crucial, right? We have to start caring less what other people think, because it really holds us back, and we spend so much time worrying and thinking about it or not getting anything done. And then getting organized, which is more of this kind of content, so you can see clearly. This is how much it costs. I'm actually doing it for you guys who are on this webinar at a really, really, really reduced price, just until tomorrow. So the course starts, I can't remember the exact date, I think it's 2 weeks on Monday, so the back end of June. It's normally £197 for the full 5 weeks. It's like next to nothing for the full 5 weeks. You can access this, because you're on this webinar, I've got a list of everybody who's on here. You can access it until Sunday night, what are we now, Thursday, so 147, or if you're really super quick, you've got until 12 o'clock tomorrow and you can get it for £97. So there's a real opportunity to make a massive saving there. It's a 5-week program, as I said. You get added into a Facebook group. It's very interactive, but it's your choice. You don't have to interact. Some people interact a lot. Other people interact a tiny bit. They're on the lives, but you don't see them very much. I actually met a girl in London last week who at the side of the road in London, and she was like, "Oh, I've just done your online program." I was like, "What?" She said, "Yeah, it's absolutely amazing." She quoted back all this stuff at me, all these things we'd shared, all the stuff she'd learned. She'd been on everything, but she hadn't really, been like actively participated. So it's up to you how much participation you do. Sometimes people become friends for life through the programs. I actually also do a follow-up program as well. For people who've done the first one, they can do a second one, which is called the Next Level, and that you can access. That again is all on the website. So if you're interested, go to emmasdenton.com/CFW online. Everything is on there. If you're interested, I know a lot of you said about the one-to-one mentoring on that stuff, then just drop me an inbox. You can email me, which is just hello@emmasdenton.com. Really easy. hello@emmasdenton.com, or you can get me on Facebook Messenger if you want to. Either of those platforms is really easy to do. I also would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't mention that I'm actually doing live events too. If you want to see a bit, well, what's near you, I think I've got 5 left this year, where we do a lot of this stuff but in a live environment. It's just CFW live at the end of the emmasdenton.com. But if you go on emmasdenton.com, you'll see everything there. I really hope that this has been useful for you. I would love to get any feedback that you've got, anything that you, let me just see if I can do this. I'm so spotlight, okay. Any feedback that you've got, anything that you found useful, I would love for you to, if you found it useful, I'm doing this webinar again next Thursday on the 21st. I think there are 100 places left on that one. So if you've got friends or work colleagues or anybody like that you think would find it useful, please just give them the link, which is on my page, so that they can sign up for next week's live as well. And if it's useful, I might do one during the day as well. I know a few people can't get on at night, so I might do one during the day. Has anybody got any questions that they, oh, thanks, I'm just looking at the feedback there, thank you, that they would quickly like to answer, because you've got my time now for a few minutes, for those of you who are still on. You can...
Hey, Emma, do you want me to go through some of the questions that people had?
Hi, thank you.
Hi. Yeah, I mean, there weren't that many questions going along, I have to say, so maybe people were waiting until the end, but there was,
okay.
And can I just say, hats off to Sandra, who's home educating 5 children.
Oh, wow, I know, yeah. Where she is.
I don't know, but blooming heck. I was like, really?
I'm dropping my kids off, like, here you go.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so there was the person who, Evelina, I think, who was asking about feeling okay with saying no, but I think that you did mostly cover that, but I didn't know whether you want to say anything else about that. There was a couple of people that said they loved the program. So Kath said she loved her Monday nights in the program with you.
Oh, great.
Lynn's recommends the program. So in terms of questions, right, Stacey had a question, which I don't know, maybe you want to post, Stacey, whether you feel like this question has been answered, because you asked it quite a long time.
Are you still on, Stacey?
It's alongside a full-time job.
You can unmute yourself if you want.
Yeah, but the question was, how do you build your business along a full-time job? She can't have a phone at work. When she has just a weekend with a child, how does she incorporate what she does into building the business without neglecting the child? That's the parent guilt thing that we all have. Yeah, so I don't know whether Stacey still want to ask that question, or whether you feel like Emma's answered it with everything that she did there. I'm
not sure if Stacey's still on. She might have had to go. But I'll quickly answer it anyway. Hopefully I answered it. And I think the only difference is is not being able to have your phone. But for me, the one thing that helped me massively, I know you've got kids as well, Tracy, so you probably be able to agree with me, hopefully, is allocating them time so that when you're with them, you're with them. Because what I found with my 2 is when I was trying to build my business, because I was driving a lot, so I couldn't message and stuff a lot of the time when I was at work. So I was trying to build my business in what I call the 7 to 11 club. So I've got the kids to bed for 7. But it meant from like 6 till 7, I needed to be with them. I needed to be interacting with them, talking to them, so that they have that time with you. So that then when you are on your phone or on a Zoom call or whatever, they know that that's your time and that's mummy's time that she needs to be working. So I did this business, or whatever business I was trying to build at the time, I did that like as if I had to go out to work. If you had a job in a pub, you'd have to go out to work. You'd have to go out to work in the co-op or whatever. So this business, if you need to do a Zoom call or you need to message people, go and sit in an office or go and take yourself away from the kids somewhere, but they've had their time. Does that make sense? That's the important bit. B doesn't work if you don't do A.
Yeah. Right. The only other question that I saw come through was just a few minutes ago when you were going through the payment options for the program, and somebody said if they want to book it but they're not in a position to pay within those time frames, what can they do? So I was going to type in to send you a message, but then I thought better check with you if that's what you actually wanted them to do. So if somebody knows they want to do it.
Yeah.
But those time frames are a problem. What do you want them to do?
If that's the case, I'll look at it on a case-by-case basis. So drop me an email at hello@msn.com and we can have a chat. Ideally, because it'll fill up, you see, it depends whether it fills up. I can only have a certain number of people on each program, so I'll obviously have to give priority to people who can book it earliest or get on quickest. But that doesn't mean to say that I haven't got a heart of stone. So if you do have a particular reason or something like that, then just drop me an email and we can have a chat. Sure.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. So I don't know whether anybody's got any other questions that they want to ask now before we all go.
Anybody got anything else or any feedback or anything that you want? Okay, great. Right, okay, well, in that case, it's almost time for bed on our chart. So you've got about half an hour of you time. But I hope you found it useful. Thank you so much for joining us. It's the first one I've done. So if you want to message me privately, any feedback or anything like that, I'll be incredibly grateful for that too. Tracy, thank you so much for your facilitation as well. Genuinely appreciate that. And I will see you all really, really soon. Thank you.